It was the most awaited book of the year, and it has just been launched a couple of hours ago after his super successful Shiva trilogy. Author Amish Tripathi is back with his latest book, The Son of Ikshvaku. Amish Tripathi's latest is part of Ram Chandra series that takes the Hindu epic Ramayana on a completely fictional narrative. It is about a tortured and ostracized prince called Ram in a corruption-plagued Ayodhya battling the demon lord, Ravan. And let's quickly listen in to what the author had to say. He spoke to TV Today Network's managing editor, Rahul Kamal, in yesterday's edition of the newsroom.
What is Ikshvaku?
Lord Ikshvaku was the founder of the Suryavansh, the dynasty of the sun god. And as we all know, Lord Ram was a Suryavanshi king. Of course, he came many generations after Lord Ikshvaku. And so hence he is a scion of Ikshvaku, a noble descendant of Ikshvaku. And that's the logic of the name.
So is series 1 related to series 2, or it's a complete breakaway from the Shiva trilogy? Do the stories intermingle? Are there cross references, or are they completely different?
It's wonderful you should ask this question. Actually, there are cross references. You can read it independently, but there are cross references. And once I've finished the Ramchandra series, you can go back to the Shiva trilogy and you'll find I've left clues in there for the Ramchandra series. In fact, not just the Ramchandra series, every book series I'll write over the next 20-25 years, they're all linked to the Shiva trilogy. When I write the story of Lord Parshuram, maybe 12-13 years later, you'll find clues. You can go back to the Shiva trilogy, you'll find clues there. When I write the story of Lord Rudra and Lady Mohini 8-9 years later, come back to the Shiva trilogy, you'll find clues there. When I write the story of Lord Manu, of Akhenaten, of Lord Brahma, come back to the Shiva trilogy, I've left clues in there.
Are you saying that you've got a plan worked out for the next 20 years? What you're going to write, what this story will comprise, you've got a plan charted out for the next 20 years, Amish?
Yeah, there is actually. And in my mind, this is all my books are actually the stories, the high points and the low points over a 9,000 year period of what I call the Vedic people of our age, whose culture was created more than 12,000 years ago and whose culture was destroyed 3,500 years ago, and I believe we are their unworthy descendants. So all my books span this 9,000 year period of the Vedic people of our age. They are all linked.
But I've been reading a lot of criticism, Amish, where people have come out and said that you're polluting Indian mythology. You know, you've got gods making love, you've got all kinds of things happening, and people are saying this is not...
Hey, hang on. I never write any erotic scenes. I don't write any erotic scenes. I'm not one of those types. But yes, there are scenes of violence and war, yes, in my books, yes.
Yeah, no, I was referring to your Shiva trilogy, where, according to some people, you know, because just the way in which gods are treated. Now you've got Lord Shiva romancing, you've got, you don't write about it in great detail, but there are references, and people also take, for example, what you've done with the Ramayana series. Now people have grown up with one version of Ramayana, which they've seen on TV, and they believe that to be true. Your version is completely different from what people have seen on Doordarshan. Is that not correct?
You know, firstly on you know, the love between our gods and goddesses, you know, you should read, for example, Kumar Sambhav, written by the great Kalidas. You know, some historians tell us 1500 years ago. I believe Kalidas ji was a lot older. But in that, the erotic love between Lord Shiva and Parvati Ma, you know, and you have to read it to believe it. Secondly, in terms of versions of the Mahabharata, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I hear you.
In terms of, in terms of versions of the Ramayana, yes, I agree that Maharashtra northwards, the version of the Ramayana that most people think is the original Ramayana is actually based on a 1980s television serial. That television serial happened to use the Ramcharitmanas as the source material. Now there are a lot of, and the Ramcharitmanas, as I'm sure you're aware, was a 16th century modernization of the original Valmiki Ramayana. And Tulsidas ji, who composed the Ramcharitmanas, made quite a few changes from the original Valmiki Ramayana. There are other versions of the Ramayana as well. If you go to South India, in Tamil Nadu for example, The version of the Ramayana that's popular out there is called the Kamba Ramayanam. Now in that version, the good points, of course Lord Ram is the hero, but the good points of Ravan have also been shown. There's a very famous scene in the Kamba Ramayanam where Lord Ram praises Ravan and Ravan praises Lord Ram, and then of course they battle with each other. There are many versions of the Ramayana, and I think the beauty and liberalism of India is that we've celebrated all of them, and we've loved Lord Ram and Sita Ma in every single version of the Ramayana.
So how is it that two of India's best known contemporary writers, or at least the most successful writers, come from management finance backgrounds, get down doing literature, and are exceptionally successful at it far more than those who spend their lives writing?
I think now you know why banks go bankrupt, because we bankers, we aren't doing our job, we are writing books.
So is Chetan Bhagat a friend? Is Chetan Bhagat a competitor? What is he for you, Amish?
Chetan is a friend, but I have to admit my wife knows him much better than I do. But of course we interact with each other. I have a lot of respect for Chetan. He is the one, I think, who taught the publishing industry that we can sell in big numbers. And all of us who are selling in reasonably big numbers in modern India, we are walking a path that was blazed by Chetan. So I have a huge amount of respect for him. Of course, we write in different genres. And I would also add that it happens to be a coincidence that both of us are IIM graduates. He is of course from IIM Ahmedabad, I am from IIM Calcutta. I think it's just a coincidence. It's not that we IIM guys are necessarily more creative or less creative. It's probably just a coincidence that both of us are.
We write in reasonable numbers. From what I know, the Shiva trilogy sold 2.2 million copies. Those are far more than just reasonable numbers. So you sell less than Chetan, but I'm told that the value of your sales is more. Is that right? That Chetan Bhagat actually outsells you. Are you hoping to be able to overtake him with the Son Of Ikshvaku series?
You know, Rahul, I think you must have been a matchbox in your previous life, trying to light a fire out here or something.
Just doing my job.
I'll be honest. The thing with books, is that it's a different industry from toothpaste and soap. In toothpaste, for one toothpaste brand to sell more, another toothpaste brand needs to sell less. That's not so in books. A reader doesn't buy less of one book just because he likes another author. One doesn't really need to get into any competition. Both can do well. There's enough of a market.
Okay, and I'm also told that you did something interesting in the build-up to this launch to try and prevent online piracy. You're actually trying to fool people. You've got one chapter out, and then you've got bogus links. So you're basically trying to ensure that all the money comes into your bank. This is where the IIM brain comes in. So explain how you're trying to fob off online pirates, and how is this different from what others do, Amish?
My God, Rahul, the entire point of doing something like this is that you don't speak about it publicly. So I will not speak about it publicly.
No, but it's interesting. It's devious at one level, it's interesting at another.
Thank you.
Try and ensure that
I must admit, it's not my idea. It's an idea from a friend of mine who works in the IT industry.
Okay, we've seen some of Chetan's books being turned into very successful Bollywood films. Is that a natural step for you? Karan Johar production is working on trying to turn the Shiva trilogy into a movie. Are you hoping to do the same with the Ramchandra series too?
It may happen. There are producers who have contacted my agents. My movie deals are represented by this Los Angeles-based company called Creative Artists Agency, and with their Indian subsidiary CA Quan. And there are producers who approach them, but we haven't really progressed to a deal discussion stage as yet. These are early days, and I want to focus my attention more on the marketing of the book. We'll probably take that up in a few months.
The first Amish written Bollywood film come out. Is that a natural step, natural progression for you as well, Amish?
Look, when I'm writing, I don't really think of where the book will go. Will it go into a movie, or Will even readers like it? You know, I write what comes to me naturally, what feels right to my heart. I start thinking about how to position and market it only once a book is done, only once a book is complete. It is possible that that movies could emerge out of my future books as well. Let's see where life goes. But that's not the perspective one thinks about when one is writing.
You know, I must tell you though, there's a bit of a fight going on at home between my wife and I about who gets to complete the book first. She's got very involved in reading the book, and now I'm trying to find time where I can snatch it away from her to read. But it's interesting to see the cues that you had, and I'm sure we have another bestseller on our hands just going by the response that we've seen so far. Amish, for joining us on the newsroom this evening, thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
And a short break.